Hey, what up, guys? It's Kyle Carroll at MyMMAnews.com for Carol's Corner MMA podcast. This week, we're joined by Bobby Campbell of Jackhammer Promotions. But before we get into that, just want to make sure you guys all check out our sponsor, PureSpectrumCBD.com. So use our code for 10% off CCMMA. Use the code, get 10% off all products. They're awesome products. They have everything from creams to help with your knees and gummy bears and everything you need. Check it out to help you. CBDs, oils, hemp oils. Check it all out. CCMMA for the 10% off the discount. And we're here with Bobby Campbell. Bobby, thanks for joining me.
Hey, what's up, Kyle? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure chatting with you. You got Fist of Fury 3 coming up. A big card. You have Tavon Thomas versus Kevin Membrano. And then you also have Jason Downer and Kyle Troyan fighting in the co-main event, which should be fireworks. Tell us a little bit about this fight coming up.
Well, obviously the Kyle versus Jason fight. On social media, those guys been going back and forth. So that fight's very interesting. I know someone's Jason saying that he's gonna show Kyle how to box, and Kyle's going back and forth saying this and that, and Jason's like, I'm gonna shut him up. So I'm without all the talk, I'm pretty sure I'd say it'd be a good fight to begin with. I don't know who's going to win, but Kyle is defending his title, so he is the champion, putting it on the line against Jason. That's going to be one hell of a fight. And then, of course, the main event, which is Kevin versus Tavon Thomas, which actually wound up we had an injury, and Tavon jumped in probably 3 weeks ago. So Tavon's a very short but very explosive fighter. And Kevin is very work alone there. He works nonstop. He is there. He's in your face. He's going to be in there for the whole fight, and he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on Tavon. Let's see what's going to happen in that match. And that's for the ISK New York State title, so that's going to be a good fight.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. There should be some real fireworks between both fights in the main event and the co-main event. But you also have a pretty stacked undercard. Tell us a little bit about the fights on the undercard that some people might not know of.
Well, we're starting the show off with 4 USA Boxing sanctioned fights with amateur boxing. There's such a high class athletes, but because USA Boxing they go first, so they're actually the third bout of the night, and that's a fight you guys do not want to miss. I'm telling you right now, of everyone in the card, those 2 guys are probably the most experienced guys on the show, which is Clubber Creed versus Kevin Luber, 178 pounds, open class boxers, which those guys are going to bring fireworks, that's for sure. Opening up the card is actually, we have 2 42-year-old master boxers in the Masters division boxing. And then right after that, bout number 2, we have 2 15-year-olds at 168 pounds. And from what I heard is to keep your eye on this kid, Blake, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Hendershot, but supposedly this kid's 15 years old. He's 2-0, and he's going to be a big thing. This is why I hear from everyone, not just from his trainer. I heard this around from a lot of different people from different sources that this guy Blake is going to be the real deal when he gets older. He's only 15 and he's 2-0 right now. And then, of course, the kickboxing part, we have a kids exhibition match, which is going to start the kickboxing portion. We have a teenage bout, Angel Roman versus Steve Woods, Tiger Showman's versus City Island MA. So we have great amateur bouts on the whole card. The whole card is stacked. Lot of heavyweight bouts, which are always fan friendly. That's for sure.
Awesome, and I know throughout the process, a few people have dropped off for whatever reason, and then you're scurrying around to find new people. Take us through a little bit of how frustrating that can be at times when some of these guys, I guess, don't keep their commitment.
It's very frustrating, you know what I mean? Because you want to give everyone a shot to go on the show. I mean, to be honest, this show is pretty stacked. It's a lot of fights on the show. I think as of Monday, we had 21 fights. I believe we have 19 bouts as of today. And of course, I'm trying to fix those last 2 fights because of backouts these past 2 days. But I have guys that are waiting on a waiting list to get on this show, To be honest, I don't really want this many fights on the show, but, as long as we have the fighters that are willing to fight, let's make it happen for them and give them a platform so they can show their skills. But as a promoter part, this is a tough week for me. You know what I mean? And especially Teresa's almost 8 months pregnant right now, and she really does all the work for the show. So right now it's pretty stressful between me and her right now, trying to get everything done before Sunday. Well, actually before Saturday for the weigh-ins.
No doubt. And weigh-ins is taking place at McCann's in Massapequa. I still believe at 4 o'clock.
4 p.m. Saturday. It's open to the public. That's our longest running sponsor, McCann's Pub and Grill. They've been with me from, I want to say, the past 7 years. So they've been with me for a long time.
Oh,
Great
wow.
sponsor.
That's awesome. And so you have, like you mentioned, you have mixed fights. You have Boxing USA sanctioned fights, and then you have kickboxing, ISKA sanctioned fights as well. Tell us a little bit about the different sports and what that brings to the show.
Well, to be honest, it's the only promotion that does this in Long Island. I believe it's actually in New York that does the two sanctioned bodies, the boxing and the kickboxing. Me personally, I was a professional boxer, obviously a professional kickboxing world champion. So, I like both sports. I love it. So I always want to give a guy's platform for the boxing as well. I mean, like I said earlier, it's a lot of work doing the double sanctions, because people don't realize that it's all different referees, it's all different judges, it's different weigh-ins, everything's different. Like amateur boxers, they have to weigh in day of, so we have to have day of weigh-ins for amateur boxers. We have to have day before weigh-ins for the kickboxers. We have to, after bout 4, we have to switch all the referees, all the judges. Everyone has to do a big swap. So it's a lot going on that people don't understand. It's a lot of work dealing with one sanctioning body, let alone dealing with 2 sanctioning bodies. But you know what? At the end of the day, I love what I do. I love boxing. I love kickboxing. And I just love to be able to put both on at one night. So I think it's great.
Most definitely. It's always awesome when you can see more than one, style of combat sports on a show. So that's always pretty cool. And then you got the boxing going on, which I feel like with the MMA involved right now, you're starting to see boxing kind of get pushed to the side a little, but
that is true,
bringing it back to the forefront a little bit. There are some pretty phenomenal boxers in the area, in the tri-state area.
You know what it is? It's weird for the amateur boxers. Amateur boxers don't get a big platform like this. Like, my show's a big platform for amateur boxers, because usually they're fighting inside a gym. The only time they get a good platform is if they're in the gloves. You know what I mean? Well, now the gloves changed to whatever it's called, the Metro Open or whatever it is.
Yeah, Ring Masters or whatever.
Yeah. So that's the only time they get a big spotlight. Other than that, amateur boxers, these guys are really good. They are very skilled fighters, but they don't get a good platform to show people. So I'm just happy to be able to give them a platform that's a little bit bigger than what they're used to.
Definitely. And I'm looking forward to it. Now, like you said, you put on this many fights. I believe it's 20 fights right now. But you usually it usually comes down after people pull out with like random reasons right before the fight. We're only 3 or 4 days away from the actual weigh-ins, and they're pulling off. What's your ideal fight card? Is it 12, 15 fights?
I believe 12 to 13 fights is the ideal, great night. Everyone enjoys all the fights. This one's gonna be a little long, but I gotta praise my staff. They're always on key. That the fights will go right back to back to back. No one's waiting for the next fight to come out. They're right there. So that's a good thing about having such a great staff and almost doing this 10 years coming up in April. That these people working for me, they're great people.
Definitely. And so now we go to the main event. You got Tavon Thomas versus Kevin Membrano. Both guys are high-paced fighters, electric. They get at it. What do you believe fans are going to expect from this fight?
I expect these guys are going to go toe-to-toe. I don't see too much moving around or, trying to outbox everyone. But I see these guys go toe-to-toe nonstop. And especially from Kevin being on the show, Kevin got a big victory over Sean Larkin a couple shows ago. Sean Larkin's he's a veteran. You know what I mean? I know he's a veteran MMA fighter, but he's still a veteran. Had a lot more experience than Kevin. So hats off to Kevin, which put him in line for this title shot. So I believe this is going to be a good fight. And Tavon Thomas is undefeated, and he stepped up on 3 weeks' notice to fight for this belt, and he is pretty excited. And they call him Mini Tyson because he's short, for that weight class. He's all jacked up, so he's very explosive. So let's see if Mini Tyson can pull off the upset. To be real.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, I've seen both of them fight. Both of their fights are actually can be seen if people want to watch them on my YouTube channel. Giblitz77. That's Jiblitz 77. So you could check those fights out from the past shows of Bobby's, the Jackhammer Promotions. And then the co-main event is I know a lot of people are excited for this one. I'm really excited for it. They, like you said, they've been talking a little bit trash, although they were both pretty humble when doing the interview with them here on the podcast. But they both feel they deserve to win. They feel like they're the better athlete. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be fireworks between these two athletes.
I am definitely looking forward to that. They're both actually. I like them both. They're both great guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they both have a lot of talk and smack on the internet, which makes the fight more entertaining. People want to see that. So I'm looking forward to that fight. That's definitely gonna be a great fight.
And they both come from pretty tough gyms. Chris Copes is Unique Fitness with Kyle Troyan, and then you got Jason Downer from Long Island MMA. Both phenomenal gyms.
No, both great gyms. I mean, I expect a war between these two. You know what I mean? Like, I expect all that trash talking. They're going to have to back it up. That's for sure.
Definitely. And Bobby, tell us a little bit about the future plans for your shows. What shows are following this one after? What do you have in mind?
So for after this, of course, we have Full Brawl. I believe it's 8 or 9 we're up to. That's going to be in November. We're actually going to be announcing the date Sunday night. That's actually a Pro-Am show. We got a couple good pros on the show. We also got one of my fighters making his return after 12 years, undefeated professional, amateur world champion, Golden Glove semifinalist Brian Rockford will be making his return to the ring after 12 years. So
awesome.
Looking forward to that myself. And then, the end of January last week, we do Super Brawl, which is always a great show. And then April, I'm really psyched for my April show, which is going to be a 10-year brawl. That's our 10-year anniversary. 10 years of promoting shows. It will be this April, which I'm pretty excited about, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's impressive. There's not every day that you get these promotions that go 10 years. I know a lot of promotions in just the MMA world are kind of crumbling after 3-4 years, 5 years, and that it's tough to maintain a 10-year longevity. Look at the UFC; they're only at 25 years, so that's impressive, Bobby. Congratulations to that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. To be honest, I'm very excited. Knock on wood, I never failed a show yet. We have I believe we're up to like 56 shows or something like that. I got to check, but it's like in the mid 50s right now of events. There was a couple of years I did 11 shows, 2 years in a row. I did 11 shows in a year. That was a little crazy, and I would never be doing that again.
Yeah, that is nuts. 11 shows in a year. That's just under one a month, but that's intense. But right now, I think you have like the perfect one every like 2-3 months, and you're switching up. You got the Fall Brawl, the Fist of Fury. You just finished the English Invasion 3. Any chance we're going to get another team from across the pond coming over, or another country?
Of course. A 10-year brawl would definitely be a evasion.
Awesome.
I don't know what to be, but it's going to be an evasion. It might be Scottish invasion, it might be Ireland invasion, it might be it could be so many different things. We get teams all the time asking me to come over. Polish invasion seems like it's pretty close to happening, to be honest. So of course, the 10-year anniversary, we had to do an evasion show, of course. But then also people probably get hate on me for this, but I am venturing out to start a different promotion with a different partner. That being said, I'm not going to mention any names yet until we have the official name and everything's out like that and the venue is locked in. But I will be doing MMA and super fight grappling matches twice a year. We will be promoting big shows. Not MOK's a different venue. And will not be Jackhammer Promotions, be a different promotions. But of course, I'll be partners in it.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Another card to throw a little different angle for you, which should be exciting. And you always put on a pretty good show, so it's always exciting.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm pretty excited. Like it's something I love. I love promoting. I love the gym. So now that I'm retired, think I got more time on my hands.
And it's funny because I would think that you'd almost slow down a little, being that Teresa, you said, is 8 months pregnant. You have a little boy, right, on the way?
Yep, a baby boy on the way. Yeah, yeah. So
Congratulations to that.
thank you, thank you. The only thing that's slowing me down is my weight these days. I think I gained more weight than Teresa in this pregnancy.
Now, to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do outside that you're like. I know you're still training, you're still coaching, you're still promoting, but what do you find yourself doing differently now that you're not fighting?
Eating, eating, and eating. I think that's the only thing I eat. I eat, and I told Teresa I needed to get a new hobby because I miss fighting. So I don't know what happened. I went with a retro thing for my son's nursery to get all retro toys for my son. I mean, that's about it right now. It's promoting, training people, working. That's it. That's all I do, really. And
That's
getting ready for
awesome.
this baby. Yeah. So,
Awesome,
you know,
awesome.
I live. This is my life. That's my lifestyle. Is a fight game.
Definitely. Well, you do a phenomenal job with it. Now, any other fight that people should specifically watch out for? You mentioned the older gentleman getting in there to start off the fight card. Anyone in the middle that we should keep an eye on, that we could see maybe a big knockout or anything like that?
Rashad Conyers versus Jose Miguel. Can't pronounce his last name, but Jose Miguel versus Rashad Conyers, 225 pounds. These guys are going to be. These guys are big boys, and they're definitely going to bring a show. But the good thing about that match is that match, the winner will face the winner of another heavyweight match on this show, which is Carlos Torres versus Nicholas Sagachi. So the winner of Nicholas and Carlos will fight the winner of Jose and Rashad for the number one contender spot on my next show, which will be on the same card as Vinny Basamello versus Malik Smith. That's the title fight, and then
a rematch of the no contest.
Yes, and then
Excellent.
on the Super Bowl show, the winner of that would defend the title against the winner of Carlos Nicholas versus Jose Rashad. The two number one people will fight.
Awesome! So I'm excited for those. For those who are watching and aren't sure, Vinny and Malik were scheduled to fight. The Fall Brawl? I think it was. And
there was
was it the English Invasion?
They fought English Invasion, yeah.
Yeah, and Malik slipped, and it looked like he dislocated his knee, or it appeared he might have tore something, but it ended up not being as severe as it looked. And
no, it wasn't as bad as it looked. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a I think it was like 10 seconds in, 15 seconds in, and that was a pretty anticipated fight.
Yeah, no, I mean these guys, they definitely came there to fight, which sucks, but they are definitely set to do the rematch in Fall Brawl, which I'm looking forward to. Malik's always a game guy, and Vinny coming from Georgia, he's a great guy. So let's hope this match actually we get a winner this time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that. Now, tell us a little bit about what you believe in for like weigh-ins, and you're talking about day of weigh-ins for boxers, because I've talked to numerous people. I've spoke to Chris Wade about it, Sarah Thomas, a handful of people that kind of, one's a pretty big time amateur boxer, another one's a professional fighter fighting tomorrow in PFL, and everyone's got a little bit different opinion and view on it. What are your views on weight cutting, weighing in, and just day of, day before?
See, I always believe day before is very important. I don't believe day of. I think that's just harder on the fighter, and that causes more problems. I think because fighters always try to cut so much weight. So if you weigh in day of, these guys are cutting that weight, and it's not healthy to fight. I also believe that MMA fighters and wrestlers, they cut weight way better than boxers and kickboxers. That's a fact. MMA guys could cut weight way better. They did it so long with the wrestler. Wrestlers are such good people, such good athletes on cutting the weight. So I believe they actually, I guess in a way it's better, but in another way it's not, I guess, because they learn it so well, they cut too much weight sometimes. But a boxer doesn't have that. I feel like a boxer or kickboxer is not as skilled as a wrestler or MMA guy. They coming up, MMA guy wrestled his whole life and he cut weight since he was 12 years old. Those guys are good at it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
definitely.
lie, those
From
guys are real good athletes.
I know wrestling. I didn't always have to cut weight till senior year, but a lot of the guys on my team they would all cut weight leading up. And when I was coaching wrestling in Wisconsin, you had only allowed to lose a half pound per day from a certain distance out of the tournament or the match. Do you think there should be restrictions onto how they should be allowed to cut, especially an amateur
Oh,
level, like body fat percentage and stuff like that? I
I,
think it should
I
be added.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, because some of these guys are cutting way too much weight, or they think they can cut the weight, and then at the end they can't cut the weight and they
Hmm.
suffer. That's why I think it's bad. That's why I also think MMA they talk about adding more weight classes, which I believe that'd be way better for the sport. I feel like a lot of these guys in MMA are missing the weights because the weight gaps are so big.
Definitely, definitely. I agree. Maybe less rosters per each division and more people, more divisions. So I think that would
Yeah.
be awesome. Now you're a guy who's fought for forever. Um, you world champion kickboxer. Speak a little bit about your thoughts on like CTE and how people can combat that to avoid it. Because you see a lot of these guys who, especially these younger guys, they take a gazillion hits when they're amateurs and they're not even pros yet making money. Thoughts on that?
I, thoughts on I have it's hard because I'm a promoter, and I feel very I don't know how to say this because I'm a promoter, so I gotta stick with what promoters do, and with the gear, and on levels of people getting hurt and stuff, taking shots to the head, which will go with the headgear kind of cause. Me personally, I I believe all amateurs fight with headgear in a stand-up fight. So I believe that protects your head a lot better. I believe that's why amateur boxing they're always headgear and they get hit in the head a lot. So I believe, it's hard to say because I'm a promoter. So I gotta stay with everything. The times are everyone likes to fight with no gear on. So I really don't know too much to say right now as a
No, no,
promoter.
most definitely. I get you on that. So I guess bring us a little bit about this fight. You have all these fights on it. We already discussed the big fights that we want to see. You got the big guys at 225 that are going to go at it. Downer versus Troyan going at it. Anything else that fans should know that will draw them in there?
Well, the teenage match, I feel like that's gonna be a good one. Steve Woods from City Island, MA. He's fighting Angel Roman for his from Tiger Showman's. So Tiger Showman's always bring a good
Mm-hmm.
crowd, and they always bring good fighters. And sometimes I feel like on this show, I have a bunch of first timers fighting on this show. So you might catch the next superstar. You never know. You know what I mean? Because some people always ask me like, "Oh, what's the fight to watch?" And I'm like, you never know. The next superstar, the next George St. Pierre could be on the show. We don't know. You know what I mean? So you
Mm-hmm.
never know. I'm really interested in seeing the guy Jason Law fight. Just dealing with him. He's just been such a great guy, and I feel like he's really on social media. He been training real hard. So I'm really looking forward to Jason Law fight. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. Looking forward to seeing all these guys get in there fight. Bobby, are you going to be sitting next to me, and are we going to be commentating these fights again?
Yes, I will be there for most of the time, so I'll be commentating most of the fights with you. Yes.
Excellent, awesome. Looking forward to it. So, guys, if you haven't bought tickets yet, contact Bobby for some tickets, or you could get them at the door. June 24th, this Sunday at Mulcahy's in Wantor, Nassau. Make sure you get some tickets. Come and watch. What time are the doors opening?
Okay, doors are supposed to open at 4:30. We are opening doors at 4 o'clock because we are starting at 5 o'clock sharp. 5 o'clock sharp. We are not waiting. 5 o'clock sharp. The fights are starting, so we are opening doors at 4 o'clock instead of 4:30. So if you're there to watch the boxing bouts, make sure you get there early because the boxing bouts are starting. The first four fights of the night are the boxing bouts.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward. Bobby, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us. For those who are watching, make sure you check out my sponsor for this show, Pure Spectrum, by going to the website, purespectrumcbd.com. The link will be in the Facebook profile. Also, use our code CCMMA for 10% off all products. That's CCMMA. Check that out. Pure Spectrum Follow them on social media. Like them, follow them, like us, and follow us, as well as Jackhammer Promotions. Check it all out.
Awesome.
Bobby, anyone else you want to recognize before we wrap it up?
Just my sponsors: Security Dodge, Spit the Truth, Sal the Barber, Pursuit of Fighting Arts, South Shore Tattoo, of course, McCann's Pub and Grill, Squid Graphics, Carol's MMA Corner, MMA Bug, One Up MMA. We have a lot of media outlets, which is always great for us. If any of the sponsors I forgot, I apologize because we have a lot of sponsors, but Arbor Consultant as well. So, without the sponsors, I really couldn't get this done.
Awesome. Well, Bobby, once again, thank you for taking your time, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday and seeing these awesome fights.
Great. Thank you for having me, Kyle.
Peace.